Hello there everyone and welcome to a new review on the channel, and today we're looking at a very old product that has kind of been catching steam recently, and pardon the pun, but that is Steam 2.0 by Ali Nouira. And I think that this is kind of re-becoming popular. It's kind of being placed on certain stores and on certain marketplaces and being kind of publicized. So I think this is a very good product, and I've had it for, as you can see with the box, I've had this for a very long time. I've used this for a very long time. I've bought refills for it. I've been using it. So I think that with this new kind of rise in attention that Steam 2.0 is getting, why not make a new review on it so that everyone can learn more about it? So let's roll the intro and get straight into a deep dive into Steam 2.0. Perfect, so you decide to stick around, which means you want to learn more about Steam 2.0. Now, what is Steam 2.0? Steam 2.0 is essentially a project, a set of things that you're going to get in order to let you perform some really cool divination mind reading routines. That is what essentially Steam 2.0 is. We're going to talk about that a bit more, but what we're going to do here to show you what this is more specifically is do a small and quick performance for you, if that's okay. Now, of course, the performance, I don't have spectators, so it's going to be kind of counterintuitive that I'm essentially guessing or divining the things that I just wrote down. So it's kind of, counterintuitive, but it will still give you an idea as to the beats and as to some of the things that I like about it and some of the things that I don't really like about it. So this is going to kind of shape your ideas about it. So you would essentially introduce, you would take from your pocket this small envelope, and inside of this envelope, you will have a billet. And of course, this is inspectable. There's nothing to it. So they're going to take this, and you're going to ask the spectator you're going to give them a Sharpie, and you're going to tell them, perfect, can you take this? And can you write the name of someone important to you? So the name of someone loved, someone close that I couldn't possibly know from a quick Facebook or Google search. So let's say they do that. And let's say I'm going to write a name here as well. I'm thinking of a name. Let's just do something like this. Okay, so your back is turned while they do this, and then you tell them, perfect, blow on it, and do you mind, let's place it on the table, or you know what, place it in your hand, place everything on top, place your hands over everything, and just hold the envelope, everything on top. They're going to be holding this, and then you tell them to turn around. So you're going to be able to turn around, and then they're going to be like this, holding this tightly so that you can't see anything. So then you tell them, perfect. Now, of course, I'm holding it, so I can't really do the other part of the routine, but they're going to be holding this, and then you're going to take the pen and you're going to start miming what you think their word is. You're going to start to get letters. You're going to tell them to focus on it. You're going to tell them to think of the first letter, the last letter, not say anything. You're going to get some cues from that, and then you're going to tell them, I think I have it. You look in your pockets, you don't have anything to write on, so you tell them, can you just lift up your hand just a slight bit so that I could take something to write on? You remove the envelope quickly, just like that. And then you tell them, okay, let me try here. I'll write something. Let's do, I think, no, that's not good. That's no good. I think we're gonna do it here. Think of it. Think the first letter is an S, right? It is. Think of your name. Just like that. I think I have it. I'm not sure, but I do think I have it. At first I wasn't that sure, but for the first time, what is the name that you're thinking of? They're gonna say Samuel. You show that you wrote Samuel, and they can check out here as well that the predictions match, and then that's the routine. So that's essentially what Steam 2.0 is in the kind of broadest sense. There's a lot more you can do. It works much better in practice, but that is essentially what you can do with Steam 2.0 and what you receive. So having said that, where do you buy this? How much does it cost? And what do you get? So you can buy this pretty much everywhere. It's available at most magic shops, whether it's Vanishing Ink, whether it's ALAKAZAM, whether it's Penguin. You can find this pretty much anywhere. It's going to set you back $44.95, so $45 US. And what you get is a few things. You are getting a few things here. So you're getting this big box. So inside of this box, you're getting your Sharpie marker, which is made specifically for this routine. So you're getting this Sharpie marker. You are getting a set of business cards. This is my refill set because I've already used the main ones. But you're getting a set of business cards, which these two are made specifically for this. They are much thicker. They are very good cards. Very, very thick. So these are made to be used with this effect. Okay, then you are getting a set of envelopes. So these are a set of the envelopes that you saw me use. You're gonna have to basically just glue them because some of them that you get are gonna be glued, but because of manufacturing, they did say that some of them, like this one, don't come glued. So you're just gonna take a bit of glue and just glue it at the seam here. So you're gonna have to do that. It's not much, but so you're getting a set of envelopes. Then you are also getting a set of these. These are kind of some mind-reading fishes, which is kind of a cute routine that you can do where you could ask a spectator to, let me try and do this for you here, impromptu. So you would take these kind of fortune-telling fishes and you would take one and you would put it in the hand of your spectator and the fish would kind of move in their hand. As you can see, you can kind of see that it kind of moves in their hand. It shapes and does different things. Now, as you can see, I haven't really used them, so they're a bit bent, but you can kind of see now, right, what these do. So you can tell them to think of something and you can clearly see that I'm not doing anything. The fish by itself is moving, it's contortioning. So you can tell them that their thoughts are being accepted or their fortune or whatever. And again, I'm not doing anything. This is moving by itself, right? So anyway, you're getting a set of 2 of these for a routine, an idea, but you can actually use it as well if you want for anything else. If you just want to use it like as a small gag or something, you get 2 of these. Okay, you're getting 2 of those. And then you're also getting something that I don't really want to show as to tip the entire method because I think it gives too much, but you're also getting a set of other things, a set of 50 of them that are going to let you do this with something other than an envelope. So instead of doing it with an envelope, you could do it with your wallet, you could do it with a notepad, you could do it with a credit card, you could do it with whatever. So you're also getting that in your packaging. So you get all of this. Let me just place this back there, and these as well. So this is everything that you're getting, as well as on kind of the top of the box, you're going to get, of course, an instruction code that is going to bring you to the Murphy's Magic website, product page of this, and is going to teach you a ton of routines that you can do with Bro Gilbert. He's going to teach you how this works, how the principle works, how to best use it, when to use it, the conditions, and the different applications of it. So that's everything that you get with your purchase of Steam. And I think you may have noticed that I mentioned refills because yes, you're going to run out of things because after every performance, you run out of essentially a billet and an envelope, or a billet and the extra thing that they give you. And also the pen is essentially going to wear out. But don't be worried. Basically everything that you get here, apart the 2 fishes, you can basically refill for, I think it's maybe $15 or $17 or $20. You can get an entire set of everything that you get here for super cheap. I think I've refilled my set 1 or 2 times or 3 times since I've purchased the original, because I do use this, not everywhere, but I do use it quite a lot. So I've just refilled it and it's very cheap. And also what's great about this is that I've had this for like 5 or something years and the refills have never went out of stock, which is great. So this never really goes out of stock, or you have to wait like 2 years before they bring new refills in. It's always available. So you can always just restock your refills for Steam, which is absolutely great in that regard. So having said all of that, what is the difficulty of Steam? So Steam is not difficult per se. The props do everything for you, but you do have to be good in your audience management and the way the props interact in order to make it as seamless, as convincing as possible. Because the way that I've performed you is actually the way that I don't really like to perform it, but I think it's the most simplest way to do on camera without having so many things on the table. Because in that way, I did have some spectators be like, oh, but you know, you somehow got the information from the envelope that I put on top of the billet, right? So I think that's not saying too much as to the workings, because I do think some people do kind of understand how this works, right? So I did have that from the spectators. Now, that probably is my fault because of the way that I've performed it, but what I actually found is I actually do not use the envelopes anymore. So what I do is I cut up the front of the envelope, and I use that similarly to the other thing that is provided to you in the package. So instead of using the envelopes, I just make extra gimmicks for the other thing and perform it like that. And even when I buy refills, I never buy refills for the envelopes. I buy just refills for the other thing that is provided to you in the package. I think it's just better, and it works just better that way. So yeah, I think that it is not difficult, but you will have to practice it a bit. You will have to get the writing well. You're going to need to see, you're going to need to practice with family and friends and see how it works with different people and different circumstances and etc. So you will have to practice this a bit, but it's still very easy and it's nothing too difficult. And I do say practice it because you may find scenarios where things go a bit wrong. And I have a horror story, not a real horror story, but a really bad story about one of the times I've performed this. And it's not because of the props, it's my own fault. Is I was doing this on stage for a big show, and it was part of a confabulation. It was one of the last things in the confabulation routine. And I had someone think of the number of passengers in the plane that they take to their vacation destination. And I used this. And the person wrote the only number that could be read side up and upside down in the same way, because he wrote that there was 999 passengers in the plane. So when I took the thing to basically throw it out or whatever, I don't exactly remember, I saw 666, because as I took it, right, to get the information, I saw it the other way around. So I saw 666. So as I went to the board, I was so confident. I was like, so the last piece of information to do this, I'm really, think of the first digit, of the second digit, of the third digit. I was super confident. I was like, it's the same digit as the first, right? And the third one is the same digit as the other two. You're thinking of a number with all the same digits, yes? And he said yes. And everything was working perfectly. And I told him, tell to everyone at a loud voice, since I've already committed, what is the number? He said 999. And I wrote 666 on the board in front of the whole audience. So when he said that, I literally froze. I was like, oh my God, what is going on? So I literally kind of like blanked out. So I was like 999, not 666. And I was like, okay. So then miraculously I had the smarts to basically think that it's the same number upside down. So then I turned the board upside down and made it like a gag. So I was like, you're going to Hawaii. You're going with Mark and Jack on a plane with 666 passengers. And they were said, yes, but not the last one. But I was like, no, because sometimes you need a change of perspective to see all the information. Yes, you see Hawaii. Yes, you see Mark and whatever the other name was. But if you flip it around, you can see there was always a plane with 999 passengers. So I found a way out of it, but in the moment, my head was spinning. I was like, how do I fix this? How do I fix this? What is going on? So I just wanted to tell you that. And that's because I didn't practice the inevitability that might happen. I didn't practice the fact that it may happen that a spectator writes the only possible number between 1 and 1,000 that is read both the same way, upside down and wrong side up. So you do have to practice that, and practice, if ever that happens, how you go out of the routine. So that's the only kind of thing you want to practice. So moving on to practicality. What is the practicality of this? So let's start, of course, with the carrying load. So what is the carrying load of this? So when you carry this, you will need your Sharpie, you will need your billets, and then you will need either your envelopes and or the other prop that you can put on another prop. So whether it's on a credit card, on on a notepad, on a deck of cards, etc., etc., you're going to need to carry that. So yes, you do have to carry around a bit when you do this, because this only works with this pen. It only works really well with these billets, and it only works really well with those extra props given in this package. So you will have to carry around a bit with this, but it's not too hard. You can literally just place like 50 billets, 50 other things, and your pen in kind of a small box like this. And then you just, every routine, you just take an envelope and a thing and you go into it or whatever. So it's not hard to carry around, but you will need to carry around the specific props for this. This is not something that you could just go and do with anything that you find, right? So this works only with these props because they're specifically made to work well with this. So keep that in mind, okay? So having said that, practicality-wise, carrying-wise, you will have to carry around a bit. Now, let's move on to angle-wise. So how is it angle-wise? Angle-wise is 180. So angle-wise for this is basically a 180. You don't want anyone behind you for obvious reasons. Depending on the routines that you do, you can maybe make it a bit more spread out in terms of how it works. For example, there's a brilliant routine by Christian Grace, not thought on this project, but if you own Magic Monthly, he does use Steam a lot, and he gives you his routine with Steam, which kind of replaces a lot of the beats and ways that are thought in this instructional video and applies them differently to new thinking. So you can see that how you can use Steam differently than what you use here. And in Christian's routine, the angles are a bit more open, right? They're not as constrained as they are, for example, for a routine like a name or a number. They're a bit more open. So yes, I would say 180, but depending on the routine that you do and the way that you do it, you could have a bit more freedom in terms of the angles. And I do think that in certain instances, you could maybe even get a 360 angle. So yes, it's good on angles as well, depending the routine and how you want to achieve it. Regarding inspectability, for example, the billet can be handed out and the envelope, once you're kind of done with it, I wouldn't necessarily hand it out to the spectator. I would just basically just do this and crumple it up and throw it out and just give them this. So I think that, you know, if you take it, you crumple it out and you throw it out. If the spectator is that keen on finding out how this works, you know, yes, they could go in the trash and find this and maybe work it out. But I do think that, you know, inspectability wise, they're just going to inspect this. And this is what they're left with. And depending on the other routines that you do, the inspectability gets better and better. I think this is probably the one that is going to raise the most alarm bells, possibly with the envelope, depending how you use it. So it doesn't have many issues of inspectability, but could arise some, but not really. It's kind of fine, in my opinion. Moving on to reset. As I said, the reset is instant. So as you finish the routine, you just take a new billet and you go again, right? So it's really, really quick in terms of that regard as well. In inspectability, you take a new billet, a new envelope, or a new billet and a new other gimmick that's provided with you, and you have your pen and you just go. So repeatability is fast. And yeah, that's all I have to say about practicality. So where would you perform this? Anywhere. As I mentioned, I've used this on stage. I've used it on a big stage with like 200 or 300 people in the audience. I've used this on stage and it worked, right? I did have the mishap of the numbers upside down, but I've used this on stage with no problem. I've used this in pre-show, no problem. I've used this in walk-around, table hopping, restaurants, whatever. You can pretty much use this anywhere. There's no real problem as to that. So regarding where to perform, it's good as well. So having said all of this, what are the positives and negatives of Steam 2.0? So the negatives of Steam 2.0 are, one, I think that some of the methods employed here are a bit too obvious for my liking, and I think that a lot of spectators are going to think of the possible way that this could be done in the way that you present it, and they're going to find out. So I think that you have to take what's given to you and apply it to other ways of achieving it. And I think that's where you're going to get the most value out of Steam. As I mentioned, for example, if you look at Christian Grace's routine, you would never even know that he uses Steam 2.0. When he told me that he was using Steam 2.0, I couldn't believe it. I was like, there's no way. So there's ways of using this that people won't even notice that you're using this product. So you're going to have to think a bit outside of the box for certain routines, because I feel that the ones they kind of teach you, at least a few of them, are a bit obvious to my liking. And I feel that if some of my spectators kind of hinted at it, maybe some of yours will too. So keep that in mind. And lastly, it will require a bit of practice and it will require a bit of confidence to pull this off confidently, because you're gonna initially, when you do this, you're gonna maybe want to be a bit too discreet, a bit too secret. You're gonna be a bit too tense. So you're gonna have to practice in order to get everything work smoothly and to be confident. And just like, for example, if you do the one with the envelope, you're not gonna be like, oh, can you just move so I can take the envelope here? And you're gonna be like hiding everything. You're just gonna, can you just lift up your hand? I'll just take this and I'll write something on it. Keep your hand over that. Right? So it's going to require a bit of practice in that regard. But that's pretty much the only negatives I have. What are the positives of this? Positives is you are getting a project. You're getting something that's going to, a principle that you're going to be able to apply anywhere to, with these things. You could do anything. You could do mentalism, card magic, divination, whatever you want. The props are great. The refills are super inexpensive. They're always available. The routines that you can do are very vast. As I mentioned, this is like a utility project. It's not just something you buy and you just regurgitate what's in the tutorial. You can apply this to whatever you want. It's a useful tool. And honestly, for what you're getting for $45, this could be sold for much more. Like the quality and everything that you're getting here could be sold for much more than it is. So I feel this could even go for $100. And a lot of mentalists and a lot of people were going to say that, you know, this is worth $100 for the thinking behind it and the quality. So I think the price is very good as well. And the content that you're getting is great too. So yeah, a lot going for it, a lot of good. So to wrap it up, would I recommend Steam 2.0? What would I rate out of 10? Would I recommend Steam 2.0? I'd say yes. If you kind of enjoyed what I said and you kind of, I think I've given enough information for you to understand what you are buying and what you are getting and how it would work. So if you feel that you want something like this and you feel that it's something that could play out well for you, then definitely I fully recommend that you get this. You're gonna get a good amount of mileage from this as I have. So yes, I would recommend it for any mentalist or anyone looking to achieve certain of these effects. I think you're going to get a kick out of it. So what would I rate it out of 10? I would rate Steam by Nouira an 8 out of 10. I have used it, but I did have some bad experiences with it. As I mentioned, I did have some drawbacks, or sometimes I do feel that if you're someone that isn't really looking to push forward what's in this box and make it your own, I think that some of the routines aren't as strong as some others that you can think up by yourself. So I do think it's good. I have used it and I do keep using it, but I do think that I still prefer some other classic methods to achieving this type of effect that are, to me at least, a bit more surefire and a bit more clean in certain instances of handling. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you in my next review. Have a great one. And